Get to know Ginger Gadsden on News 6, weeknights at 6 p.m. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood now at 5 a.m.
Now on News 6 morning, shots fired after a rideshare driver picks up 2 men on law enforcement's radar. The latest on the arrest. And neighbors on the water told to leave their floating homes, the warning officials are giving when it comes to boat ramps. Plus, crews breaking down the debris after the massive bridge collapse in Baltimore, where the search for bodies in the water stands. And later, have you seen these guys around your homes, yards, and maybe even your car? The note from experts on what to do if you get too close. First, though, good morning, Central Florida. It should be a warm start to your Easter weekend, but the beach will be beautiful. But as always, got to be careful of what's going on in the water. You're watching News 6 Getting Results. I'm Emily McLeod.
And thanks for waking up with us on this Saturday morning. I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
So, Michelle, it's going to be a beautiful Easter weekend. Great weekend at the beach, but always got to be careful on the water.
Oh, yeah. Today we have a high rip current risk, but at least the winds have died down significantly since yesterday. But even though it is a chilly start to our morning, we are going to warm up so nicely as we go through our Saturday as well as our Easter Sunday. So here's a live look outside Daytona Beach. Everything is nice and quiet. We're actually going to wake up to clear skies as we go through today. We'll see a few clouds push in later on this afternoon, but I expect a mostly sunny day. Here's a look at your temperatures if you're heading out dark and early. It is chilly out to the west. I'm talking about the Villages, Wildwood, Ocala. You all are beginning your Saturday morning in the 40s, but don't worry, things will warm up nicely through today. Orlando, Kissimmee, 56 degrees. We're looking at 55 in Sanford as we head to our coast. Cape Canaveral at 52. It's also chilly in Cocoa Beach at 49 degrees. So that cool air in place right now, when that sun comes up, it's going to warm things up into the 80s across Central Florida. Winds calm, but look at your forecast for today if you have any plans, especially if you have any outdoor plans. We are looking pretty good. I do think we'll be in the lower 60s by 9, partly cloudy conditions. By 11, we'll be in the middle 70s, and then by 1, we'll be in the lower 80s with a daytime high of 84 degrees. So all in all, we're looking at a really nice day ahead. No rain in the forecast. In fact, an area of high pressure, a fair weather system over Florida, so that's going to keep things nice and calm. As we take a look at your forecast highs, look at this: Sanford at 82, 78 in New Smyrna Beach, and Bithlo at 83. And we'll take a look at tomorrow's forecast coming up in a bit.
All right, Michelle, thank you. A rideshare pickup ending in gunfire. Now, a local deputy is on leave and 2 men are waking up behind bars. Now, this all happened in the area of Pine Hills Road and Balboa Drive. The sheriff says deputies stopped a rideshare vehicle. Then one of the suspects inside jumped from the window with a gun. The sheriff says that's when one of his deputies opened fire. This led to an even more chaotic scene. The 2 passengers left the rideshare and ran throughout the neighborhood. The sheriff's office saying it all started with a tip about 2 people with handguns modified to be automatic. Investigators say both passengers got away.
Our deputies received information that 2 individuals were in possession of illegal handguns that were modified to be automatic.
We're in my room, hear a noise in the fence, and I look through my window and see this guy going, and call 911. Everything was like a matter of minutes.
Now, both passengers were then caught. The deputy who fired his weapon is on paid leave while FDLE investigates. We're told the rideshare driver was not involved in the incident or the investigation. Turning now to a housing crisis on the water. Several people in Seminole County possibly being forced to leave their floating homes as dangerous crumbling boat docks are making it too risky to go to the place they call home. Some people live on boats at Boat Tree Marina in Sanford. The problem, part of these docks are crumbling away. News 6's Treasure Roberts spoke to neighbors who are worried about what will happen next. This morning, the latest on a devastating incident from earlier this week, the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Maryland's governor calling it an economic catastrophe. Now, the largest crane on the eastern seaboard is beginning to clear the water of debris from the bridge and ship that crashed into it so they can reopen the port of Baltimore. At the same time, family members of those still missing in the water begging for rescue teams to continue the search efforts to recover their bodies.
To the families, I would continue to say that you have an entire state and country and world who are lifting you up in prayer. We know, and I indicated that our first priority was making sure that we can help to bring a sense of closure.
President Biden plans to visit Baltimore next week. We will have more on the plans for the cleanup coming up this morning at the bottom of the hour. All right, well, now go ahead and take a look at these creepy crawlies. You might be seeing these everywhere right now. Tussock moth caterpillars. Have you seen them? They are creepy, crawly, and it feels like they are everywhere in Central Florida. One literally landed on my driver window the other day. So like this picture from one of our pennant users, it also landed on her car, saying she spotted the crazy caterpillar on her daughter's car. Now, here's a closer look. This one from our pennant user in Crystal River. Check out this guy. Just look at the spikes on this thing. Now, we've been seeing them here at News 6 too. Now here in this last picture, they are all over our employee keypad, which is how we're supposed to get into work. So imagine trying to get through this. There were even more there last week. News 6's Troy Campbell is finding out why these bugs seem to be everywhere and what experts are saying about them. Yeah, these things are literally everywhere right now. If the tussock caterpillar is in your neighborhood, we want to know about it. So share a picture and location on our pennant page at clickorlando.com/pins. Time now is 5:09. Let's check back in with Michelle Morgan. Michelle, have you seen any of these caterpillars around here?
I've seen hundreds already. They usually where the playgrounds are when I take my kid.
Oh.
Yeah, and if a playground is under an oak tree, they're all over the tables and everything like that. So I'm glad I actually saw some. So then I showed my son. I was like, see these? Don't touch them.
Stay away from them.
Yeah, but you know what? The weather is really nice if you're planning on heading out to the playground today or really doing anything. Right now it is a bit chilly. Clear skies. Temperatures are starting off at 56 degrees in Orlando, and winds are nice and calm, thankfully. Yesterday we were dealing with breezy conditions. Now look at this. Temperatures here, especially inland spots, we're in the 50s. Sanford 55, Leesburg at 54. But as we head out to the west, Marion County 49. Good morning. The Villages 48, and our coastal spots also dealing with some chilly stuff. We're looking at 49 degrees in Cocoa Beach and 52 out in Cape Canaveral. Good morning to you all. As you take a look at your hour-by-hour forecast here, we'll see plenty of sunshine, a few clouds here and there, but temperatures will be in the lower 60s by 9. We're looking at middle 70s by 11, so if you're heading out to lunch, the weather will be just fine, and then we're in the lower 80s by 1. Now, winds will continue out of the northeast through the morning between 5 to 10, and then switch out of the southwest between 5 to 10. So that's going to continue to draw up the humidity as we head into Easter Sunday. But we are looking warm, guys. Look at this. 84 today and 85 tomorrow. Our next cold front arrives this week. We'll talk about it coming up in my full forecast.
If your dryer is sticking out just a little too much and you can't push it back, chances are it's because the hose behind it is just a little bit too long. Well, I got some options for you. I'm Eric Von Anken. We're getting results at home coming up.
All right, we'll see you soon, Eric. But first, we're hitting the road once again to cover your concerns and what you love about Sanford. How to make your voice heard next. You're watching News 6 Morning. We're getting results for our friends in Cocoa, Maitland, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
What is happening?
We're packing up our newscast and taking it on the road.
Oh, that's happening now?
Now, so let's go.
Every month, we're broadcasting live from a different community.
Because we want to speak with you, hear about the things that concern you most.
It's time you create the roadmap for our newscast. See what I did there?
WKMG hits the road live, and we're coming to Sanford next.
Join News 6 April 10th from 4 to 7 p.m. live from Hollerbox German Restaurant.
Live with Emily McLeod and meteorologist Michelle Morgan, this is News 6 Mornings, getting results.
All right, well, you should know by now WKMG is hitting the road and coming to your neighborhood, and Sanford, it is your turn. But before we head to the 32771 zip code, we want to know, what are your biggest concerns? What do you love about where you live? Here's News 6's Mark Lehman with some of those answers.
Along the picturesque waters of Lake Monroe, you can't help but take in all that Mother Nature has to offer.
Y'all brought me some luck.
Joseph Williams was born and raised in Sanford, which takes up a large part of the 32771 zip code. It's our next stop in April as WKMG hits the road.
Why should someone live here?
Because it's a good place to live. I think Sanford is a great area.
Williams fishes almost every day. He loves the beauty and accessibility, but says there are concerns, especially after Sanford declared a health emergency last month. That came after a sewage leak from the nearby water treatment plant.
It kind of bothers me because, I think it might have, contaminated the fish.
Down the street, we found families playing at Fort Mellon Park.
I mean, I love the area. I love the lakes, the nature, just everything. I guess that's everywhere in Florida.
You want to add something?
Yeah,
what do you want to add?
Like the smell of the breeze, the waves in the lake. It's super pretty. That's what makes Sanford unique.
It's safe to say 7-year-old Emma Quell is a fan of where she lives.
Have some fun, right?
Downtown Sanford in this park, perfect. Everything in Sanford, Florida is unique.
I think you may have to talk to the city. She may have to be hired by the Chamber of Commerce.
Her mother, Christina, has lived here for 15 years and has mixed feelings on the area's growth.
It's nice to see that it's up and coming, and it's not just overgrown fields and stuff, but in the same place we're taking a lot of homes away from animals.
And while there are difficulties in some spots, she also says the city and county are doing well in keeping up with the region's demands.
Just the great community, the sense of community that you feel here.
In Sanford, Mark Lehman, Getting Results, News 6.
Well, it's Saturday, which means we are kicking off the weekend by getting results at home with anchor Eric Von Enken. Every week, he is showing us how to do it yourself, tackle projects quickly and easily, and keep more money in your pocket. Today, we're getting results at home in Volusia County for a familiar face here at News 6. Love to always see those segments work out in the end. Coming up on News 6 Mornings, a rare sight expected in the sky comes with a reminder to be safe while you're gazing. The warning from doctors. Plus, we're expecting a pretty warm Easter weekend, right, Michelle?
Yeah, we are. It's really perfect. Today's going to be picture perfect, even though it is a chilly start across the area. No rain in the forecast, and we'll talk about a warm-up as we head into the upcoming work week.
You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
Get to know your morning meteorologist, Candace Campos. Weekdays on News 6 Mornings. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Now on News 6 Mornings, a scary scene unveiling in an Orange County neighborhood. 2 are arrested and a deputy is on leave. We'll walk you through the timeline. Plus, the latest on the cleanup in Baltimore after a cargo ship brings down a bridge, the effort to clear the debris, and how this will affect the U.S. supply chain. Welcome back to the Morning News. Time now is 5:30 on your Saturday. You're watching News 6 Getting Results. I'm Emily McLeod. But before we update you on our top stories, meteorologist Michelle Morgan has a quick check of today's forecast. Michelle, it looks like it's going to be a warm Easter weekend.
It is really picture perfect. Even though it is a chilly start to our morning across the area, it's going to warm up nicely into the 80s, so it's going to feel really nice. The humidity will be nice and low as well, and also no significant rain until Wednesday, so enjoy the dry streak until that beneficial rain heads our way. So here's a live look outside in downtown Orlando. Everything is nice and quiet, 56 degrees. Winds are also nice and light at the moment, and they'll stay light as we go through today. We are dealing with some very chilly temperatures, especially west or over our western zone, so Sumter County, Marion County, portions of Lake County starting off in the 40s. So Wildwood, good morning at 46, 48 in the Villages, 48 as well in Ocala, and 56 degrees in Ocala and Orlando. Now check out our coastal areas, 49 in Cocoa Beach, 54 in Melbourne. So in some spots you may need a light jacket as you're heading out. But this morning, check out your temperatures. We're steady in the middle to upper 50s, clear skies. We may see a few clouds pop in as we get closer to the 8 o'clock hour, but we're looking at a warm afternoon, and here's what I'm talking about. Those highs climbing into the 80s here, 84 degrees in Orlando, 82 in Sanford.
All right, Michelle, thank you. An unsuspecting rideshare driver found themselves in the middle of a deputy-involved shooting this week. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says one of their deputies opened fire on 2 suspects who jumped out of the rideshare car armed with guns. The sheriff says the vehicle was stopped in the area of Pine Hills Road and Balboa Drive. Deputies say it was on a tip that the suspects' handguns were modified to be automatic. Now, during the stop, one of the passengers jumped out of the car's back window with a handgun. He says that's when one of his deputies opened fire. Investigators say both passengers got away, with one of the passengers even climbing a fence into the yard of a neighbor nearby.
What do you make of all of this happening in your yard?
This is crazy. I was planning to buy this house, but now I'm thinking to do that in other places.
Now, thankfully, both suspects were caught, and thankfully, no one was hurt. We're told the rideshare driver was not involved in the incident or the investigation. Also developing, it's now up to the governor to decide whether or not to remove Commissioner Regina Hill from her position now that she's charged of stealing thousands of dollars from an elderly woman. The District 5 rep walking out of jail Thursday after posting a $40,000 bond. State investigators accuse Hill of taking more than $100,000 from a 96-year-old woman and using it to buy expensive things for herself. They say she also fraudulently got a mortgage in the woman's name. Now Hill is releasing her personal statements. We have decided to omit the elderly woman's name. In it, she says she is loved and cared for, the 96-year-old woman, like her own family. She goes on to say, quote, "I know the truth. I know I'm entitled to due process in which I will trust, and I will await my day in court to prove my innocence." Now, if the governor chooses to remove Hill, a special election would be held to temporarily fill the District 5 seat.
Yo! What? Oh my gosh! No way!
A tragic, deadly, and economic catastrophe. Horrifying witness video of the Baltimore bridge collapse on Tuesday morning. Now, this morning, officials say it will be a long process to reopen the port of Baltimore to shipping after this week's bridge collapse. Heavy equipment now at the scene to begin removing the wreckage. CBS's Wendy Gillette has the latest on those efforts. We still have a few more weeks of spring break travel, and today is set to be another busy one at Orlando International Airport. 197,000 travelers are expected to pass through today. After an already crazy month for MCO, they had their busiest day ever on record, March 16th, with over 200,000 travelers passing through. Now the FAA is predicting spring break travel will peak April 4th and April 5th, not just for spring break, but also for travelers headed up to witness the Great North American Eclipse on April 8th. The FAA warned people flying along the path could encounter limited parking and potential delays at airports due to all the aircraft and drones attempting to witness the solar eclipse. Well, speaking of that solar eclipse, it is just days away, and while other parts of the country will have a better view, doctors are reminding everyone to take precautions while viewing the rare sight. Ophthalmologists say it can take as little as 20 seconds for your eyesight to be permanently damaged if you try looking directly at the sun during the eclipse. Doctors say that's why it's critical to wear special purpose solar filter glasses labeled ISO 12312-2. Experts say parents should be extra careful since it can be difficult for kids to keep their glasses on.
The eclipse's rays are extremely dangerous because they're very powerful. You want to actually, in my opinion, kind of avoid them even looking at the eclipse if possible.
Now, another tip, experts say don't use binoculars or special lenses to magnify the eclipse, since those devices can focus the sun's rays into the retina and cause damage. The eclipse will happen on April 8th. Let's check back in with meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Michelle, do you have any solar eclipse glasses? I feel like every time this happens, I miss out on buying them, but I actually found some at a Special K, or Circle K. That's cereal.
It is cereal. Well, I was going to tell you if you needed some, I have some extra. Yeah, I bought a bunch. Yeah, so we were really excited for the eclipse, so it should be a really good time. But for today, the weather is looking fantastic for Easter weekend. Really no big weather systems heading our way. I zoomed things out so you can really see what's going on here. A few clouds out to the west as we go through today. We'll see a few clouds pop in and out, but expect beautiful sunshine, and that is going to warm us up nicely as we go through the afternoon hours. But before we get there, it is chilly in a few locations in Marion County, areas in Lake County. I'm talking about upper 40s. Check out the Villages at 49, 48 in Ocala, 56 in Orlando, good morning, and 55 degrees in Sanford. Coastal areas are chilly too, 49 in Cocoa Beach and 52 degrees in Cape Canaveral. Winds are nice and light out of the north. Eventually they'll switch out of the south as we go through today, and that's going to increase the humidity just a touch. But here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast here. So the sun officially rises here at 7:17. Temperature still in the 50s, lower 60s by 9 under partly cloudy skies, and we're looking at a really nice day with our daytime highs reaching the middle 80s. My forecast high today's 84. If you are heading out to the beach, we're looking good. Just Keep in mind that the UV index will be high as well as the rip current risk. Our next front arrives next week. We'll talk about that coming up in my full forecast.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Coming up, a hotspot tourist attraction now looking to expand the new hotel you could see in Orange County and why the park hopes it will up its business. Jamie.
Some great games last night in the Sweet 16. We had another nail-biter and another upset on News 6. Who's staying alive? That's next. And the Orlando Magic tried to stop their slide against a veteran all-star team in the Clippers. The Magic's all-star Paolo Banchero coming up in big moments last night. Highlights, the results, and reaction are on the way.
Get to know Lisa Bell on News 6 weeknights at 5 p.m. Live with Emily McLeod and meteorologist Michelle Morgan, this is News 6 Mornings, getting results.
More changes to one of Central Florida's theme parks. It has been nearly 2 years since a 14-year-old fell from the top of the Orlando Freefall at Icon Park, a tower that is no longer standing. And earlier this week, the park's massive observation wheel went under new ownership and got a new name, kind of. Once again, it's called the Orlando Eye. New ownership, new changes, and more expansion, and they don't stop there. News 6's Laverne McGee got a look at the next hotel development that could be coming to Orange County. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan joins us now. Michelle, it's going to be a gorgeous weekend, but people should be aware it's going to be really nice at the beach. People are going to be tempted to get in that water, but it's really important to pay attention to the flag system.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a high rip current risk in effect for today, but at least the winds are not as strong as they were yesterday and the day prior, but nonetheless, you still want to make sure you're paying attention to those flags. But right now, as we take a live look at what's going on in the atmosphere, you're looking at the satellite and radar imagery. Notice no green over Florida, meaning no rain. Everything is nice and quiet. We are looking at a few clouds out to the west that'll eventually head our way, giving us a partly cloudy day, but all in all, looking at a really nice Saturday ahead. Now, we are still dealing with some dry air over our area. So here's our area of high pressure continuing to slide to the east. That orange stuff over the peninsula, that is that dry air. So that's going to keep our humidity nice and low as we go through today, but eventually the humidity is going to gradually increase as we head into our Sunday. But temperatures are, again, looking okay. You may need a light jacket in a few locations, but I do want to draw your attention to our western county, so Lake County, Sumter County, as well as Marion County, dealing with some chilly air over your areas here. So this is what we're looking at: 48 degrees in the Villages, 48 in Ocala, Wildwood, good morning at 46. As we head to Orlando at 56 degrees, and we are still dealing with chilly temperatures out in Cocoa Beach at 49. But thankfully, things will warm up as the sun goes up. And here's what I'm talking about as we take a look at your hour-by-hour forecast. By 9, temperatures will be at 62 degrees, at 11, 75. Then we're in the lower 80s by 1, eventually seeing a daytime high of 84 degrees this afternoon. And yes, we will be slightly above average today. Normally, we're supposed to be at 81. We'll see 84 today. Your beach forecast, if you're planning on heading to the coast, we're looking at upper 70s, the water, upper 60s, but the UV index will be high, as well as the rip current risk, and also the winds will be out of the east between 5 to 10 miles per hour. Easter morning, looking pretty good if you are heading out to church or doing whatever activity. We're looking at temperatures in the lower 60s at 8, middle 60s by 9. We'll see abundant sunshine, and then by 10 we're in the lower 70s, and also tomorrow is going to be dry. I am going to run through Futurecast real quick here, future radar, because not a whole lot to talk about. Winds will eventually switch out of the south as we go through later on this afternoon. A few clouds here and there, and then tonight expect mostly clear skies. Now, our next cold front, a lot of models are indicating this cold front moving in by Wednesday. We'll have a potent weather system developing to our north. Attached to it will be that cold front, that trailing cold front moving through on Wednesday, bringing us some showers, an isolated thunderstorm or two possible. But overall, looking at some beneficial rain heading into our area on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, things dry out. And then it's also going to be breezy. So here's a look at your 7-day. 84 today, partly cloudy skies. Tonight, 60. Tomorrow's Easter at 85. Nice warm up Monday and Tuesday. Look at Tuesday in the lower 90s, and then a 60% chance for rain on Wednesday.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Well, it was a wild night for the Sweet 16 and the NCAA tournament, plus the latest on the Magic's losing streak and how they hope to stay alive when the playoffs start. News 6's Jamie Say is getting you caught up with your morning sports.
Thank you, Central Florida, for ending your day with us and trusting News 6 for the latest breaking news in your area. You made News 6 at 11 p.m. number 1.
Well, check this out. One of our local detectives sniffing out a successful end to a missing child's case in DeLand. Here's a closer look at K9 Midnight. He used the scent from a blanket to find the missing 3-year-old boy in the woods. The dog then led his handler to the child, who was okay, and returned to his mom. Of course, we should give credit where credit is due. Midnight is trained to search for missing people and narcotics. He joined DeLand Police Force in 2022. What a good boy Midnight is. Cute dog, happy ending. We love to see that.
Oh, absolutely. Midnight looks like he means business.
Yeah, yeah, he is not messing around. Absolutely not. So, Michelle, it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous weekend.
Oh, yeah.
For Easter festivities, or maybe you're just going to go, you know, like we said earlier, explore Central Florida, get outside your bubble a little bit.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, whatever you got going on, the weather's going to cooperate. We stay nice and dry this weekend, which will be really nice for outdoor activities. Temperatures will be in the middle 80s, not only today as well as tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine. Look at this. We warm up nicely into the upper 80s on Monday and then 90s on Tuesday.
Ooh, all right. Thanks, Michelle. All right, here's a look at what's coming up in the next hour on News 6 Mornings. A warning for homeowners on the water. Why one local city is warning these neighbors might have to move. Plus, an intense scene in Orange County after a deputy opens fire on armed suspects. The reason law enforcement was tipped off to the location. Another hour of news and weather coming up right here on News 6. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. We're back in 3 minutes.